You are someone whose career was in a large way made by winning an Emmy in 1995. Your role was still a little tenuous, right? And then you were validated. Tell me what happened then as a result of winning.
Well, I mean, I think ER really validated my career, but the Emmy helped place me into the cast of ER with solidity because I was a guest star on the pilot. I died. I moved back to New York. I was about to do a guest starring recurring role on Homicide: Life on the Street when I got a call from George Clooney actually saying, "Don't take another job. I think you're going to live." And they brought me back, and I was hired to do 10 out of 13 episodes, so I wasn't paid much. I didn't do any press with the rest of the cast because I was, basically just a recurring. But they put me in every episode, and then that year I won the Emmy, and it actually really gave me a place on the show in a more dramatic way than it would have had I just sort of hung in there long enough.
Right. And then you were nominated again in supporting, then you were nominated in lead, so you just kept moving up the Emmy hierarchy in a way.
Well, I think when Sherry Stringfield decided to leave the show, that was in our third season, they elevated me to more of her position, which was more, I guess, screen time, one would say. So it didn't feel fair to keep putting me in supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't win ever for lead on ER, but it's okay.
Still, it's okay. Your quest for the win in lead is fascinating to those of us who follow the Emmys because the first year of Good Wife, you were the odds-on favorite to win, and then Kira Sedgwick pulled off an upset, and then last year you ended up rallying and winning, and I couldn't help but think of what Susan Lucci said when she won the Emmy, which was, "There's a lot to be said for anticipation." Do you think that there's something satisfying in losing first and then winning?
Well, in a certain way. I mean, I think it's, I think it was good in a way because it first of all, Kira's a dear friend of mine, and she had been nominated 5 times and not won. And so I was thrilled, honestly, I was. And I'd been at the podium a lot that year, and I was sick of me talking. So
You won the Golden Globe, you won the SAG Award, yeah.
Yeah, and it felt really good to just not have to stand up and say something. And that year I was honoring George with the honorary Emmy, and so it was like enough of me. I really, because the first year of The Good Wife was such a train, and you do get sick of hearing about yourself and talking about yourself and seeing yourself. So it was good, and then it sort of rallied us all up more for season 2, which I think the writers did such a tremendous job with my character. I mean, I think they do an amazing job all the time. I just saw the season finale last night because I've been working. And I just think they're so masterful at creating these characters that each and every one of them have so much merit. And my wish and prayer is that every actor on our show gets to experience the podium because they're all deserving of it.
In the course of the last 2 Emmy runs, you got a real crash course in episode selection, didn't you? Because there were those of us in the blogosphere the first year going, "Julianna, submit the pilot, submit the pilot." And then you chose a different one, which was an excellent episode where you had a nice, I remember, teary crying scene in the very last part of it.
I had a very, well, I wasn't advised very well. Someone said to me, "Everyone's seen the pilot. Don't submit the pilot because everyone's seen it."
Okay.
But what you forget is that most Emmy voters sit in a room and watch each episode back to back of what each actor submits. So I felt like, oh, well, if everyone's seen it, then I should submit something that has also, because that episode had a little comedy in it too, and it also had the tears, but it had so much, the fear, it had a lot of different layers to it as opposed to the pilot, which was very forceful, but I felt like if everyone had seen it, that I was supposed to choose a different one. Then last year, I actually didn't choose.
Oh, wow.
I said, I'm obviously not very good at this. So my amazing assistant, who's been with me and my family for 12 years, he reads everything. I don't read anything. I don't read anything written about me. I don't go on the web about me. If I did, it's like going down the rabbit hole, and then you can't get out, and you think, of all the good things said, you'll only remember that one bad thing, and then you stay up all night. So I try not to, and everyone has an opinion, rightfully so, but it doesn't mean I have to read them. So I actually don't touch it. And I said to Alex, you know this show better than anyone. He is so informed and an unbelievable supporter. And I said, you pick it. And obviously he picked the right one.
Well, In Sickness was the episode selection. It was very powerful. It had the interplay with you and the kids, plus the whole larger storyline of the infidelity with Peter
Yeah.
and all that. Now, this year, the message board posters at Gold Derby have narrowed it down to 2.
Oh, really? Which ones?
Yes.
Help me out, because I don't know.
There's Parenting Made Easy,
Yeah.
and of course where Grace is missing, and then there's Blue Ribbon Panel. And
Right.
by a significant vote in our message boards, at least those speaking up with opinion, they're leaning toward Blue Ribbon Panel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's the one where you go back for the family,
To the
family
house.
home, and Matthew Perry is in the law part of it.
It was, I think, one of the best written episodes this season. And it was a very, very tricky episode to do. There was so much going on. And that's what Alex told me. He said it's between those two, and he's very conflicted because oftentimes the Emmy voters like more tearful things. And Parenting Made Easy has a lot more of the emotion than Blue
okay.
Ribbon Panel. I personally would have no idea. I don't know. So
Well, the deadline's ticking away. You have to
is
choose
it?
pretty
I'm going to let
fast,
Alex choose.
Oh, okay. You are the largest winner of SAG Awards in the world. You've won 8. You've won 2 solo for Good Wife, 2 solo for ER, and 4 ensemble awards. Behind you, by the way, in case you're interested, is Alec Baldwin with
Yeah.
6. He's got 5 solo wins and 1 ensemble award. So, I mean, and you've won Golden Globes. You've got all that stuff. So, what's your whole take of the whole game, the whole scene? Is it terrifying? Is it just kind of, do you put it in perspective, or does every contest make you a ball of nerves?
Well, I think the day you're not nervous is the day you should probably quit.
Okay.
Because I do get nervous, but in a good way. I mean, there is something to be said for having won, because now I just go and really try and hear what everyone's saying and enjoy it and try and see people I haven't seen in a long time. And it is a fun party, and it's such a privilege. I think it's a slippery slope with awards, you know. I don't think you can compare anyone's performance unless, as you said, unless we were all to play the same role. I think it's a very tricky thing to get too caught up in. That being said, I know for our show, just the first year when I won the Golden Globe, it was really helpful to sell the show to Europe.
Oh.
It's great for business. You know, you get to say, you know, Golden Globe winner Julianna Margulies, because we'd only been on for 6 months, so that was a big boost for the Good Wife economy. And then any time we get Emmy nominations or SAG Awards or whatever it is, it's great for business. So I always go. One of the things I dread is making speeches, because no matter how many times you've done them, I still look out into that audience and talking and being able to thank people. I think that's the best part of getting an award, is that publicly you get to thank the crew that works so hard and the writers. But I always get teary, and I hate it. I can't bear being teary on stage. So, you know, you think it would get old, but then I watched Meryl Streep this year win her Oscar, and I was so thrilled for her. And you could feel it. You know, it's an emotional thing being able to thank people and being appreciated for your work.